Gamar Chatima Tova. It is Yom Kippur 2022, and this means in the Jewish tradition, for the last 10 days, the days of awe between Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year, the Jewish New Year, and Yom Kippur, for centuries, there have been masses of people of the Jewish faith who have understood this is the holiest time of the year. And the concept is, note, I am a new learner of the Jewish understanding, so bear with me and do a little Googling or asking your rabbi. But my understanding is that in these past 10 days, the point of concept is to reflect on who you have manifested yourself to be, and the idea in the writings is that God would reopen the book of life at the beginning of Rosh Hashanah, reviewing with you your entire past year and who you have been, determining essentially by the end of the 10 days. In tradition, the Jewish people would be making lots of sacrifices on any of the sins they have personally committed or the community has committed. At the end of those 10 days, Yom Kippur, God determines if you are inscribed in the book of life, which not only determines your eternity, but your specifically next year's fate. And the greeting, Gamar Shatima Tova, means may you be inscribed in the book of life for good. Now, one might ask, what is the value of that? What is the current value of reflecting on your last year, and what does that have to do with determining your next year's fate? Especially for those of us who may be of the Christian heritage, who believe that Jesus is the Messiah, and or the Messianic Jewish people who believe that Jesus is the Messiah, or and so that our fate is eternally sealed, right? So what is the point of reflecting on one's year every year and making a determination of who you've manifested to be? Does that align with who God has called you to be? And what God says in His Word is the fundamental values for a person who is living a good life, as far as in His standards of what that means? What is the value of that? How does that actually affect one's fate in the next year, if it still does? I asked the Lord this morning, and this is what I was told, which is, we know, this is scientifically proven at this point, that those perceptions and memories that we have and hold within us, those little t traumas, those big T traumas, those words or phrases or I am statements that we speak to ourselves will literally affect us in this moment and every moment forward. They will affect our memories, our traumas, our self-perception, our perception of the world, which grows after time and time of experiencing life and determining things that the Lord has showed us, or that the world has told us, or that the enemy has whispered to us, right? Those things affect what we do. Those things affect how we appear in the world. So effectively, the awareness that we have about ourselves and how we're experiencing life, how we're expressing ourselves, does determine our fate in the next year. Therefore, in this holy day, this ancient holy day, we still have something we could participate in, which is kind of cool because people have for centuries been doing this. And for those who believe in Jesus, He was Jewish, He was doing Yom Kippur. What I'm saying is, we have an opportunity still to do a yearly reflection. I love the fact that God was like, oh, let me help you with your psychological health as well. Every year, at this time, do a real inventory, a real vulnerable inventory with God. How have I manifested in the last year? How have I reflected you? How have I very much corrupted the beautiful identity and design that you have given me? How have I misused it? How have I misused the resources that you've given me? How have I used them well? What do you, with me, I here think this next year can and should look like in light of all that? What baggage am I carrying that is no longer mine to carry because everything in the past is not now, and because of what you have done and told me you would like to set me free from that, so that my next year's fate can be sealed in an entirely different way than it would have been if I passed through this moment and ignored it. That's how I perceive the Yom Kippur holy day, this whole 10 days of awe. And if you're just now catching on to this and you're like, wow, that sounds cool, but I missed it because the 10 days just passed. We are set free from the actual letter of the law. I invite you to still take some time, maybe this weekend, to do similar reflections that the Jewish people have been doing. I just posted some info about it on my Facebook page, but you can Google. I Googled and took some good, reasonable resources, some Jewish resources. I think the Farmer's Almanac had a good little reading on what the holy day is. I invite you to do so. It's pretty cool. Happy Yom Kippur. I don't think that's the way you say it, but that's me learning.